Have you ever found yourself putting things off for no clear reason? Let's talk about why we do this and how to break the cycle. Hey, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life. So it's been the longest time trying to make some videos, trying to make some content. I haven't posted anything for over a month now. And there was a reason why, and if you want to know what was going on in my life at that period of time, then I'll put the video up here because, there was stuff that was happening that was kind of causing me to be unable to commit and find the time and the space to be able to do that. But I guess what I've realized is that actually, because what I've been telling myself over this month, right, is I said, okay, once I get settled in my new place and I'm not running around anymore and I'm not kind of having to buy and build and transport and move things and all the rest of it, then I will have time for the video. And then after that, it was okay, let me just finish this project that I'm working on because this is really super intense. And then once I finish the project, I'll definitely be ready to do the video. And then after that, it was oh, but there's this next project coming up and I need to plan and I need to prep for this interview for this other project that I've got coming up. So once I've done that, then I'll definitely do the video. And then it was well, actually, Fran, you've had all of this intensity around you. Maybe you just need some time for some recuperation. You need some time to just chill and relax for a little while. And after I've done that, I'll definitely make this video. And on and on and on it's gone. And it just made me think about that idea of procrastination. And I didn't know previously. I thought that procrastination was just kind of like a verb, it's something that you do. That person is procrastinating over there. But I didn't realize that actually there's a real big psychological link to procrastination. It's not necessarily something that you do. It's not necessarily a verb. It's something that you be, I am procrastinating. And there's a reason why we as human beings sometimes put off the things that we don't want to do, And I think for me, it's manifesting in this way. And for other people, it can be all sorts of different things, Maybe it's that bill that you don't want to pay, or that person that you don't want to have that conversation with, or I don't know, that tidying that you don't want to do, or that box that's just been sitting there for months and you're no, I'm definitely going to move it. There's always a reason why we choose not to do these things. And I think about that kind of sympathetic nervous system, right? So when your body is in a state of high arousal, when there's a lot going on in your mind or in your life or whatever, there's a certain level of intensity, and then how we respond to that, our survival mechanism kicks in, which is our sympathetic nervous system, and it's that fight or flight thing. But people don't know that actually it's not just fight or flight, it's fight, flight, freeze and fawn. And for me, I'm definitely a person who freezes. And then I use all of these different techniques to distract myself and to create a different reality so that I don't have to do whatever it is, the thing that I don't want to do, which is in reality, it's actually in my reality. So I've just adopted a new one over here that tells me, oh, I'm too tired, I'm too broke, I'm too lazy, I need some time, I need to do this, that and the other before I can even begin thinking about it. Anyway, when I finally decided, okay, right, this is getting ridiculous. This clearly isn't about the house or the move-in or the boxes or the furniture or the projects or the money or the sleep or the recuperation time or any of that shit. This is about me. And I laid there in meditation yesterday because I was right, fine. I've accepted. It's not everything else that's going on around me. This is something that's happening internally. And as I did, and I thought about the possibility of standing here doing this, honestly, I started getting hives. I started sweating. My heart started palpitating on a next level. I could feel it thudding out of my chest. So one thing that I do know is that depending on where you feel the energy of any particular thing in your body, it will kind of give you an indication as to what it might mean. So, for example, sometimes I feel a constriction in my throat. I know that that's about me not being able to talk, not being able to communicate, not being able to express myself or my needs. You know, when I feel stuff in my solar plexus, I know that that's a lot about anxiety. It's about fear of the unknown, fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of success. Just fear generally comes from here. And when I feel things in my heart, I know that it's about love, right? And that's where I felt all of this pain yesterday when I was meditating. And I watched it because I think that if you can watch what your body is doing when you're thinking, when you're focusing on a certain thing, it can give you a fucking hell of a lot of insight. So I watched it. There was all this pain coming out my heart. I was like, okay, there's something about being loved, not being loved. There's something in there about me making this video. So I watched it, and then as I watched it, I realized, okay, just here, right underneath my heart, there's like this lump of what looks like black, I don't know, whatever, some black lump, right? And as I watched this big black lump, I realized, like, oh, okay, actually, the feeling of pain, this feeling of heartache that I have is directly being fed into this big black lump of, I don't know, like Play-Doh shit. Anyway, so I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, okay, this thing, whatever it is literally feeding. It's feeding off of my heartbreak. It's feeding off of my heartbreak. And I watched it and I watched it and I watched it some more. And what came to me as I was watching my heart break and this like rainbow of sadness pouring out into this lump of whatever the fuck that was inside my body, this one sentence came to me and it was just like, please don't make me do it. Please don't make me do it. Please don't make me go back into reality. Please, it's too hard. And I started thinking about that. I started thinking about reality and what was in reality that was so hard for me. And I had this moment where I realized, okay, everything that I associate with these videos is everything that I'm running from. And that led me on to think about how hard it feels to try to be something, to do something, to say something, to create something, to put something out into the world. How hard it is to do that with the possibility that you may be rejected or ignored or avoided or, I don't know, condemned and judged or whatever, right? And I just remember saying to myself, it doesn't matter how hard I try. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I'm never going to be loved. And I know already, and I've spoken about it a million times, like the correlation there is between me doing this and my need for external validation and my need to be loved. And as I said that to myself, I just got this image of like a very, very little me trying with hope and optimism to do something that would make my parents say, wow, aren't you amazing? Didn't you do good? We're so proud of you. And never, ever, ever getting it. And I think about how much effort it feels like to put into this. And it's because I'm still trying to get that love, right? But the reason I want to talk about this is not to rehash this ongoing cycle that I have around trying to do something, needing to be loved, needing external validation, my fear of rejection, all of those sorts of things. The reason I bring it up is because as soon as I realized, like, raw, okay, it's the effort that feels hard. That's what I'm avoiding, because I feel like no matter how much effort I put in, I'm never going to be loved anyway. That made me really, really sad. That made me really, really sad. And there was a part of me that was saying, just want to be loved, man. Like, I just want to be loved. And then the other Fran said to that Fran, yeah, but you are loved, man. You've got your kids. They love you. And the other Fran said back to that Fran, yeah, but that's obligatory. They love me because of innate DNA-based genetic cord that we have attached to us. And yeah, you know, they like me because I'm a good mom, but they don't really love me in the way that I need to be loved. And it made me think about the fact that actually the only way that my heart could feel satiated with this longing to be loved, to be accepted, to do good, to be told that I'm doing good, to put effort in, and for people to say, and for me to feel that that effort has resulted somehow in gaining the love of someone else. And even as I say it, I'm like, there's no amount of effort that you could put in that means that you'd be loved, because that means it's all conditional, right? And actually what I want is unconditional love. But the thing that I was thinking about was how that love can only be given by my parents. That love can only be given by my parents to a 4-year-old me, to a 3-year-old me, to a 7-year-old me, to a 9-year-old me. There is nothing, actually nothing, that can be done now to fix that, to heal that, to repair that, to glue it back together. There's nothing that can be done to repair that tear. Like, it can't happen, because what I'm searching for is what I didn't get when I was young, when I was 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. And that just made me feel really fucking angry. And it made me feel really broken. And it made me feel completely lost. Because if I'm longing for something that I will never, ever, ever get, then I'm never going to be okay. I'm constantly going to be battling this throughout my whole life. However, the really amazing thing that happened that came off the back of that was that I cried and I grieved and I mourned for something that I'm never going to have, for that version of me that was never given what she needed to be given, you know. And I think I would say through like a level of acceptance, or through that it created a level of acceptance. I felt the pain of the worst possible end result of this, that it's never going to change, that I'm never going to be loved, that I'm never going to get what I needed, that I'm never going to be told that I'm good, that I'm never going to get that unconditional love that I need from my parents, right? And accepting actually and feeling the pain of that, yeah, just generated this real, I don't know, painful, but I don't know, sublime kind of acceptance of it. And it reminds me of something that a really good friend of mine said. They said, you know, basically until you have experienced the worst possible outcome of something, until you've accepted that something is what it is, and even if you could change it, even if I found someone tomorrow who gave me everything that I needed, even if I learned how to love myself unconditionally, even if I did 10 years of therapy or went and did a million more ceremonies in ayahuasca, even if I did that, like I say, the core is still damaged. So it's like to accept actually that this is the truth, that this is reality, as painful as it is, gives freedom. It gives freedom. And I don't know how far I am on that journey of freedom. Like, I really don't. But I'm standing here. So must mean something, right? Okay, I think that's it. Ugh, I feel so nervous. I feel as nervous as I did like 7 months ago doing this. Okay, something that I'm grateful for. I think I'm grateful for a lot of things, from like knowing that I need to be quiet and look in my body, having the skill to be able to just sit and observe what's going on rather than trying to have to figure it out all the time or have the right answer. I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful that I'm stood here today. I'm grateful that despite how difficult things have been over the past 6 weeks, I'm in an amazing position. I'm really grateful for those things. But I think the thing that I'm most grateful for in this moment in time is that the truth, no matter how wretched it is at certain times, always brings a greater level of liberation than whatever reality I'm trying to create to avoid the truth. So I would say, if you find yourself procrastinating, if that's something that you struggle with, think about what alternate reality you're trying to create through that procrastination, what you're trying to tell yourself, what you're trying to pretend is the truth. And then when you're ready, take some time and try and discover what the real truth is. Yeah. Okay. That's it. What's something you've been avoiding lately? Let's unpack it together in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real talk like this.